NASCAR legend Dale Earnhardt Jr. has recently voiced his opinions on several key issues facing the sport. His comments have sparked discussions about NASCAR's future direction, international expansion plans, and new rules. NASCAR has been exploring opportunities to expand its reach beyond the United States. The 2025 season will see the addition of Mexico's Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez to the Cup Series calendar, marking the first points-paying race outside the U.S. since 1958. However, NASCAR's ambitions don't stop there. Earnhardt Jr. shared his thoughts on potential international venues during his Dirty Mo Media podcast. He mentioned that NASCAR is considering races in Europe and Brazil. Earnhardt Jr. said, they absolutely want to race in front of new audiences. NASCAR would love to race in Europe, or you see Brazil in the conversation on social media. Despite acknowledging NASCAR's desire for international growth, Earnhardt Jr. expressed a neutral stance on the matter. I don't know if I love it. I don't care. I don't care if my cup racing goes overseas. I'm not for it or against it. It doesn't excite me, but I'll watch it. But I'm not going to be sad if it doesn't happen. Does that make sense?
In the future, I don't know if I don't care. I don't care if my cup racing goes overseas. I'm not for it or against it. It's not something, it doesn't excite me, but I'll watch it. But I'm not going to be sad if it doesn't happen. Does that make sense?
Earnhardt Jr. did, however, suggest a potential venue if NASCAR decides to take its Clash event overseas. But if they take the Clash overseas, I think that one track that they absolutely should look at is Brands Hatch. The Indy course at Brands Hatch, it's like a short track road course.
But if they take the Clash overseas, I think that one track that they absolutely should look at is Brands Hatch. The Indy course at Brands Hatch it's like a short track.
While open to the idea of international races, Earnhardt Jr. emphasized the need for continued growth within the United States. In a separate episode of the Dale Jr. download, he stated, "I am not opposed to taking the sport and racing it in other countries. We had our peak popularity in the mid-2000s. I mean massively larger than we are today. Still, I feel like we got a lot of work to do here." He drew comparisons with the NFL's international games, questioning their effectiveness. NFL plays a couple of games overseas. How's that working for them? Their success in the States is allowing that. NASCAR, for me, we still got growth to have in the U.S.
Like NFL plays a couple games overseas, right? They're going to Spain, I think, this year, Brazil maybe.
Yeah, they're going to Ireland. Yeah. They're all over the place.
Right, and so how's that working for them? I guess that's a good model to look at, but I'm sure it's working really good.
They keep adding more, it seems like.
But their success in the States is allowing that. That platform of success here in the United States for the NFL is allowing them to take that international and be successful. And it can even be moderately successful, and that's okay because of how big and how good things are going here. I think NASCAR, for me, we still I don't know how to say this the right way without sounding bad, but we still got growth to have in the U.S.
Earnhardt Jr. also raised concerns about the potential impact of international expansion on the nature of NASCAR tracks. He pointed out that other countries are unlikely to build oval tracks, which are a hallmark of American racing. This could lead to an increase in road courses on the NASCAR calendar, potentially altering the traditional character of the sport. Another significant issue Earnhardt Jr. addressed is the potential addition of a fourth manufacturer to NASCAR. Rumors have been circulating since February 20th, 2024, about a new original equipment manufacturer joining the sport, with speculation pointing towards Honda. Earnhardt Jr. expressed caution about this development, warning that the conditions for a new manufacturer's entry might not be favorable for fans or drivers. He voiced his concerns during a Dale Jr. download episode. The motivation for a new OEM coming in. What has that got to do with our sales in the United States? The main bother or the main concern for me is, what are we willing to do to get them in? Oh man, I'm not gonna like any of it. Is it hybrid engines? Is it less horsepower? What is their hesitation? Why are they not diving head at first? Because this is awesome seat right. The veteran racer drew attention to the ongoing changes in NASCAR, including the decline in horsepower since 2014 and the introduction of hybrid technology. He fears that accommodating a new manufacturer could lead to further deviations from NASCAR's traditional form. Earnhardt Jr. compared NASCAR's situation to that of IMSA, where multiple manufacturers compete with various engine types. While acknowledging the need for a balance of power, he emphasized the importance of maintaining NASCAR's American identity. In NASCAR, we've had V8 engines and carburetors forever. That's kind of American. You gotta be careful about how you evolve away from that. They have been careful and slow. Despite these concerns, NASCAR President Steve Phelps remains optimistic about the sport's growth and attractiveness to potential new manufacturers. Phelps highlighted recent positive developments, including a $7.7 billion media rights deal signed at the end of 2023 and partnerships with Amazon Prime, TNT, and the CW for the 2025 season. Phelps stated, "We were finding some difficulties because the car industry believed that we were in some distress, we were declining. And now we're not, with a different relevance, different reputation to the brand, some modest growth in television, attendance has come back, so there are things that are positive now that make it attractive for OEM brands around the world to say, wow, how about NASCAR? That's interesting for us." To understand the context of Earnhardt Jr.'s comments, it's important to consider NASCAR's recent history. During the early 2000s, NASCAR experienced a golden age, with TV ratings topping the charts and popularity at an all-time high. However, the sport faced significant challenges following the Great Recession between 2008 and 2010. The introduction of the elimination playoff format in 2014 did little to halt the downward trend, and the climb back to prominence has been gradual. However, recent developments suggest a positive turn for the sport. The $7.7 billion media rights deal signed at the end of 2023 marks a significant milestone in NASCAR's recovery. The addition of 3 new media giants, Amazon Prime, TNT, and the CW, for the 2025 season indicates growing confidence in NASCAR's appeal to viewers. These positive developments have bolstered NASCAR's position in negotiations with potential new manufacturers. As Steve Phelps said, "We know that there are a current couple of OEs that are really kicking the tires hard, and that's a good thing for us. Will it come to fruition? I don't know, but I feel good about it." Earnhardt Jr. also addressed fan reactions to the recent NASCAR event at Bowman Gray Stadium, known as the Cookout Clash. While the event was largely considered a success, Earnhardt Jr. expressed frustration with some of the complaints he heard from longtime fans. During his Dale Jr. Download podcast, Earnhardt Jr. recounted, "So the race is happening. I've got me and you were in a group text with some friends, right? These are friends that have been race fans for years. And I was really surprised by the reaction that they had, and I tend to take these little examples and assume that this is not just isolated to this text message. Maybe there's a lot of people that feel this way." The complaints centered around 2 main issues. First, some fans felt that the Last Chance Qualifier, or LCQ, was too rough and took too long to run. Earnhardt Jr. acknowledged that there were numerous cautions during this race which caused it to drag on. However, Earnhardt Jr.'s frustration peaked when the same group of fans then complained about the main event being too boring. The contradictory nature of these complaints led Earnhardt Jr. to exclaim,